In section 8.6, we're looking at cars. A loan that you pay off with weekly or monthly payments or payments in some other time period is called an installment loan. The advantage of an installment loan is that the consumer gets to use a product immediately. The disadvantage is that the interest can add a substantial amount to the cost of a purchase. Let's begin with car loans in which you make regular monthly payments called fixed installment loans. So the regular payment amount, PMT, is required to repay a loan of P dollars paid N times per year over T years at an annual rate R is given by PMT equals P times R over N divided by 1 minus 1 plus R over N raised to the negative NT. So let's go ahead and use this for example number 1. Suppose that you decide to borrow $20,000 for a new car. You can select one of the following loans, each requiring regular monthly payments. The first loan is a 3-year loan at 7%, and the second loan is a 5-year loan at 9%. We want to go ahead and find the monthly payments and the total interest for loan A. So let's go ahead and just figure out the monthly payments first. So using our formula, let's go ahead and write down our letters. Our P is the $20,000 loan we're taking out. My rate is 7%. My N is 12 because it's monthly payments, and T is 3 because it's a 3-year loan. So plugging this into the formula, we have $20,000 times 0.07 divided by 12, and this whole thing is divided by 1 minus 1 plus 0.07 over 12 raised to the negative 12 times 3. And so again, make sure you have your good calculator out, and this is going to give you approximately $617.55. So that's your monthly payment. To figure out the total interest for the loan, you're going to take your monthly payment which is our, let's round it up to 618. We're going to multiply by 12 because that's how many times I pay in a year. And we do that for 3 years. And we're going to subtract off the original loan amount, which was $20,000. So we get $22,248 minus the $20,000 loan, or the original amount, and the interest is $2,248. So you're paying an additional $2,200 on top of what the original amount of the car was. We're going to do the same idea for loan B. My P is still 20,000. My rate is 9% or 0.09. My N is still 12 and my T is 5. So plugging this into the formula, we have 20,000 times 0.09 over 12. And then the whole thing is divided by 1 plus, or 1 minus 1 plus 0.09 divided by 12. raised to the negative 12 times 5. And plugging that into our calculator, we get about $415.17. So again, we want to find the interest. So we take our payment. Let's go ahead and just say it's $415. We multiply it by the 12 months that we do it in a year, and we do this for 5 years. Subtract off the original amount, which was $20,000. So we get $24,900 minus our $20,000, and we get $4,900. So in this case, you're paying almost an additional $5,000 with the $20,000. So let's go ahead and compare our monthly payments and total interest for the two loans. So I'm just going to set up a pretty basic table here. In either case, we're taking out a $20,000 loan. We're going to look at their monthly payment. And we're going to look at their total interest. So our first loan was 3 years. At 7%. The monthly payment was $618. And the total interest was $2,248. Our second loan was a 5-year rate, or 5 years, at 9%. And my total monthly payment was $415. So it was cheaper every month, but in the end, I ended up paying more in my interest. We do have an alternative when we're talking about cars. We can lease. So leasing is the practice of paying a specified amount of money over a specified time for the use of a product. Leasing is essentially a long-term rental agreement. So we have two different types of leases. We have a closed-end lease, which just means each month you make a fixed payment based on estimated usage. When the lease ends, you return the car and pay for mileage in excess of your estimate. The other one we have is an open-end lease, which says that each month you make a fixed payment based on the car's residual value. The residual value is the estimated resale value of the car at the end of the lease is determined by the dealer. When the lease ends, you return the car and make a payment based on its appraised value at that time compared to its residual value. If the appraised value is less than the residual value stated in the lease, you pay all or a portion of the difference. If the appraised value is greater than or equal to the residual value, you owe nothing and may receive a refund. So of course there's advantages and disadvantages. Some advantages is that leases require only a small down payment or none at all. Lease payments for new cars are lower than loan payments for the same car. Most people can lease a more expensive car that they would not be able to buy. When the lease ends, you return the car to the dealer and you do not have to be concerned about selling the car. Some disadvantages is when the lease ends, you do not own the car. Most lease agreements do have mileage limits, so 12 to 15,000 miles per year is common. If you exceed the number of miles allowed, there can be considerable charges. When mileage penalties and other costs at the end of the leasing period are taken into consideration, the total cost of leasing is almost always more expensive than financing a car. While leasing the car, you're responsible for keeping it in perfect condition. You are liable for any damage to the car. It does not cover maintenance, and there are penalties for ending the lease early. When you purchase insurance, you buy protection against loss associated with unexpected events. Different types of coverage are associated with auto insurance, but the one required by nearly every state is liability. There are two components of liability coverage. We have bodily injury liability covers the cost of lawsuits if someone is injured or killed in an accident in which you are at fault. Property damage liability covers damage to other cars and property from negligent operation of your vehicle. Collision coverage pays for damage or loss of your car if you're in an accident, and comprehensive coverage protects your car from perils such as fire, theft, falling objects, acts of nature, and collision with an animal. Who insists that you need a new car? A new car loses an average of 12% of its value the moment it is driven off the dealer's lot. It's already a used car and you haven't even driven it home yet. Used cars are a good option for many people. The best buy is typically a 2 to 3-year-old car because the annual depreciation in price is greatest over the first few years. Furthermore, many sources of financing for used cars will loan money only on newer models that are less than 5 years old. So for example number 2, let's suppose that you're thinking about buying a car and have narrowed down your choices to 2 options. The new car option, which costs $25,000 and can be financed with a 4-year loan at 7.9%, and the used car option, which is a 3-year-old model for the same car that costs $14,000 and can be financed with a 4-year loan at 8.45%. What is the difference in monthly payments between financing the new car and financing the used car? So we need to figure out what the difference is in the monthly payments, and so we need to figure out the monthly payments for the new car and the used car. So let's go ahead and do the new car option first. So using our formula for payment, this car is $25,000 and our rate was 7.9 or 0.079. This is a monthly payment, so it's going to be divided by 12. Divided by 1 minus 1 plus 0.079. Over 12 raised to the negative 12 times 4, because this is a 4-year loan. And so my monthly payment is about $609. Let's look at the used car option. This car is $14,000. The rate we're taking it out at is 8.45 or 0.0845. Again, this is paid every month. And on the bottom we have 1 minus 1 plus 0.0845 over 12 raised to the negative 12 times 4. And so plugging that into our calculator, this ends up being about $345 a month. So the difference in payment is $609 minus $345, which gives me a difference of $264 a month. Now, buying a car is a huge expense, but to make matters worse, the car continues costing money after you purchase it. These costs include operating expenses such as fuel, maintenance, tires, tolls, parking, and cleaning. The costs also include ownership expenses such as insurance, license fees, registration fees, taxes, and interest on loans. And so in the chart below, you can see the annual cost of owning and operating a car in 2016. This is based on driving 15,000 miles per hour. And so for a small sedan, the cost per mile was about 45 cents. For a medium sedan, it was about 58 cents. For a minivan, it was about 62 cents. And an SUV with four-wheel drive was about 71 cents, and a large sedan was also 71 cents. So that means that the cost per year of just owning and operating it for a small sedan was about $6,700. For a medium sedan, it was $8,700. For a minivan, it was $9,400. For an SUV, it was about $10,600. And the same thing goes for a large sedan. So you're adding thousands of dollars on top of just purchasing the car. And so we can find the cost of gasoline with this formula. The annual fuel expense is equal to the annual miles driven divided by the miles per gallon times the price per gallon. So using that formula, we're going to look at example number 3. Let's suppose that you drive 24,000 miles per year and gas averages $4 per gallon. What will you save in annual fuel expenses by owning a hybrid car averaging 50 miles per gallon rather than an SUV averaging 12 miles per gallon? So let's go ahead and look at the hybrid first. So using our formula, we drive 24,000 miles per year divided by the miles per gallon, and on the hybrid it was 50 miles per gallon. And we're going to multiply that with the average gas price, which is $4 per gallon. So 24,000 divided by 50 is 480 times 4, which gives me $1,920. We're going to do the same thing for the SUV. We're still looking at driving 24,000 miles per year, but the SUV averages 12 miles per gallon, and we still are looking at $4 on average. So 24,000 divided by 12 is 2,000 times $4, which gives me a grand total of $8,000. And so the difference between these two, $8,000 minus $1,920, will give me savings of $6,080 per year. Now, if you deposit your monthly fuel savings at the end of each month into an annuity that pays 7.3% compounded monthly, how much will you have saved at the end of 6 years? So this one's saying if we deposit our monthly fuel savings. We know our annual fuel savings. So to figure that out, we're going to take that $6,080 and divide it by 12 to see how much I'm going to save per year. and we get about $507 per year. This is going to be our P. Our rate is 7.3%, which is 0.073. Our N is 12, and our T is 6. And so as a reminder, our formula is A equals P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT minus 1 all over R over N So plugging in our information, we have 507 times 1 plus 0.073 divided by 12 raised to the 12 times 6 minus 1. And this whole thing is divided by 0.073 over 12. And so plugging this into our calculator, this would give me $45,634.